So, what results do we find from this study? So, a data comparison of the muscle activity during the descent phase of the flat bench press between all loading conditions shows the lats, pec major, the front delts, and the triceps produce continuously higher bioelectric signals, the highest being the pec major, as the load increased during the descent. So, of course, more weight, more muscle activity. The largest difference was found between the 70% and 100% loads, the lowest load tested and the highest load tested. Bar speed and bar path are consistent, so there's no correlation between bar speed and bar path between the loading groups, and there's no EMG correlation either when compared to the 70, 80, 90, and 100% loads compared to the bar speed and bar path. As we move forward through this review, the analysis will specifically be on the effects and correlations measured during the ascent phase. The EMG data for the ascent phase of the data shows that only the lats, front delts, and triceps show a significant effect. So, not a correlation, but a significant effect between the loading groups. The total mean EMG data shows a strong positive correlation with the barbell weight. So, the largest difference again was found between the 70% and 100% loads. So the effect of the loading groups continue to have a direct effect on the EMG activity from the lats, the front delts, and the triceps. There's a strong correlation, however, between the mean EMG data and the effect of the barbell weight. So, but this, of course, doesn't mean it did not, However, the pec major had no statistically significant correlation between loading groups. This, of course, doesn't mean it did not produce force, but that the force generated was consistent regardless of the studied load. However, this statistic doesn't tell the whole story. So, although the mean average pec major activity between all loading conditions was insignificant, there's a 10% reduction in pec major activity during the first half of the ascent of the 100% one rep max loading condition. So, this yellow line shows the beginning, the start of the ascent, and then the beginning of the ascent, and then the first 25% of the lift, so about 5 centimeters, and pec major activity falls off a cliff and doesn't recover until about 50% of the ascent is completed, about 10 centimeters. So, where does the force needed to move the bar come from? Well, based on the data, we see a huge spike in tricep, lat, and front delt activity, 25%, 10%, and 5% respectively, during the first quarter of the lift to take up the slack of the pec major. The pec major actually downgrades its contribution as a prime mover on the 100% of the one rep max, and the triceps continue to surge with an even higher EMG compared to any other muscle in each loading condition. So the hypothesis is that to stabilize the lateral movement of the bar, so side to side, the pec major becomes, as the authors call it, a quasi prime mover stabilizer.